All right. Welcome back to the Outdoor Drive Podcast. This is your boy, East Coast Trev, and
This is Steve.
Steve, the miraculous Steve.
Just accept it, dude. Just Steve.
All right, fine, I guess. Still the miraculous Steve in my eyes. Let me fix this microphone. Well, now that we're out through the new year and things are kind of looking up, we're getting into shed season, and wow, it's fucking pretty good. Well, actually, and that's in podcast land. In real land, we're really still hunting. we're
Yes.
just a little bit ahead of our time here. Steven has to go off to Arizona to be with the family, so we're jumping ahead a couple of weeks with the holiday times. So we're just kicking it. We still got hunting to do.
Yeah, just having a good time.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
No, man. Not at all.
Before we get too deep in conversation, I do want to take a minute just to send a prayer to a local, or not local, but a law enforcement officer, Kevin Bear, and his family. 25-year law enforcement veteran was injured today and being shot by a suspect while on an assignment in Clinton County, Ohio. There's not very many details, but he is in fighting recovery after being shot in the line of duty. So I definitely just want to take a minute and say a prayer for him.
Let's round up the troops and go to Clinton County.
Yeah, right. I mean, hang this
somebody
fucking
needs
guy.
ran down.
Oh, hang this guy, man. Like the guy's out there doing what he needs to do. I mean, those officers are still humans and have families too. They're just doing their job. Don't be a dick.
Don't do illegal shit. Stop breaking the law.
It's pretty easy. Fucking simple. I hate it, man. I hate it. I'm gonna get him with my screwdriver. The screwdriver. I gotta keep that thing out of here.
You're gonna screw him up.
No, man. So what's new in the world of Steven?
Oh, not a whole hell of a lot. Did a little bit of gun hunting this morning, this morning and last night. It was dismal, of course. Weather was very uncooperative, foggy, rainy. But after it cleared out, we actually met with some foresters on our property down in North Carolina and started kicking off our timber stand improvement down there on that property, getting some food plots cut in, doing some thinning. Nice, big, beautiful pine area. And we're going to turn it into a big buck home. So that was fun.
That's awesome.
We had a good time. Walked our asses off through the swamp. A little worn out, ain't going to lie.
Yeah. All right. So you're just doing some improvements, some thinning out of hardwoods and stuff like that on the property and softwoods, or?
It's primarily softwood. It's all lollylop pine. So it was cut 25 years ago, full clear cut, full cut over. And we've been slowly building it up, getting it to where you can access it. And it's still thicker than hell. So we've got a forester that's going to come in and do a thin job on it for us, get the lanes cut out.
What's this lollylop pine you're talking about?
Lollylop pine. So you've got, a lot of different species of pine. Primarily a lot of people associate white pine because that's the cheap, shitty lumber you tend to get at Home Depot. Lollylop is another variety that's very similar to white pine, very tall, only has canopy. It doesn't have mid-level and low-level branches, grows real tall, real straight, real thick. So
that's like the stuff that we saw when we were turkey hunting.
Yes.
In the pines there.
Yep.
Okay.
Same kind of pines.
All right.
Those are lollylops. So
yeah.
3 needles, 6 to 9 inches long, if anyone wants to get into the details. But
I don't think we have those where I come from.
No, you guys are more up in, I'm trying to remember what they call them up your way.
We have like Douglas firs and
firs and spruces and things like that. More the evergreen.
Yep.
So, yeah,
we got oaks and ashes. It's weird. It's weird how like the changes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Well, and the same thing, literally.
You guys have like cedar pine too, right?
Well, cedar pine is, I know that's 2 different species of wood.
Cedar swamp, you know what I'm saying? Don't you have a lot of cedar swamp? What do they have down there?
Yeah, down there there's actually quite a bit of cedar, but where we are, so previously it was owned by a giant lumber company, and that's all it was just a giant timber farm.
I love it.
So you got the pines mixed in through there. We have a couple pin oaks, we got some red oak and some white oak, but I mean, we're talking like one tree in 500. So when you find one good mature oak, you try to clear everything around it because that's the only one you got in that area, which actually plays out really nicely, especially after we get this done. They start dropping acorns. You know where the only tree that has acorns are.
I'm actually very interested to watch this whole process go from start to finish. I think it's something that I think a lot of people would actually be interested in because it's something a lot of people are actually doing, like with building food plots and going through a property from start to finish and managing and doing those things.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun. Got some film while we were down there just doing the interview and the walkthrough and walking the property with the forester and kind of getting the plan, explaining things. Next steps are, I'm going to go down and walk the property, mark GPS points, and tape off where we want the food plots cleared. And then they're going to go down between July and August when it's driest and start doing the cutting. And if we do it correctly, then it should actually pay us back enough to continue to improve the property. And the goal is to make it self-sufficient. So the lumber will pay for the future upgrades and changes, seed, fertilization, things like that, as well as, some upgrades on the lodge and different things. So it's fun. Why they're cutting, got it all planned out with them. So I'm going to go down. They've got a nice fancy drone and we're going to do some overhead shots of them, start, middle, finish type stuff, film why they're cutting, some of the equipment they're using, and try to actually document this whole change into the property, the whole development, and turning it into a whitetail and turkey property.
It's kind of crazy because we kind of went through it here with Caddy Cowboy and when he did it on his whole property, and he had filmed the whole entire thing from start to finish, and it's so badass to see. Like, I can't wait to see what you're doing. But I know that he still has that footage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get a hold of that shit.
It's really cool. We've seen some of the properties that this company has worked on, and looking at it and looking at ours, you can't really walk through half of our property. It's too thick. Just vines and sweet gums and hollies and briars, and you can't get through it. And then seeing what it looks like afterwards is amazing. So I'm stoked. I'm excited, dude. I can't wait.
It's fucking badass. And then the big bucks you're gonna kill off of it. That's the most important thing.
Yep. See, and that's our problem right now is most of it's so thick, those big deer won't go through it. It's just too much of a hassle.
Couldn't imagine the things that you'll find while they're cutting.
Oh, well, we have found stuff in there. We've found some really cool racks. One of the ones that's out on the porch here at the man cave, we found down in there on a deadhead. We found some massive sheds in the past, 160, 170 inch swamp donkeys. But it's kind of rare because they only come through after the season when all the foliage is gone and they can actually move through there without getting tied up. So this is going to really improve that.
That's fucking badass.
And we'll do it all. I've got it all laid out in a, I guess it used to be QDMA. It's now the Deer Alliance type program. So it's following all the specifics, sanctuary, so much food for so much cover, things like that. So
well, you're level 1 with them, aren't you?
2.
Oh, you're 2. Okay.
I'm not sure how that plays out now that they've made that merge.
Yeah, I got to look into that.
Previously, it was level 2 QDMA.
All right.
And after that, then you get into, the field time and having to be out there and do the walkthroughs and stuff on site with staff, with instructors. And I just haven't got to it yet.
That's fucking badass, dude. I can't wait to see it, especially with you doing the documentary of it.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun, dude.
Yeah.
It's fun to just work on properties, dude. I love playing with our food plot here and, little things here and there, but I've never had an opportunity to take a property from what it is to what we want it to be in such a short amount of time. So this is going to be so cool.
And now's that time to start thinking of those things, and a lot of people to add to it, especially talking about food plots, frost seeding.
Yes.
That's a huge thing now. This is getting to that time where you start to frost seed.
Yep. You start getting all of that planned out where you want to
Normally
do
what,
it.
February?
Yeah, about February timeframe is when I particularly like to start getting seed out. But of course, it's a frost seed, so it does
What'd
you
I
no
say?
good. No, no, you're right. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I said no.
This
Oh,
is where a lot of
just.
people kind of get confused. It's called a frost seed, meaning you throw it out when the ground is frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So it
It's still
freezes
snow.
and then it thaws and it soaks in. Then it freezes again and then it thaws and it soaks the seed down more. You can't go out there and go, oh, well, it's cold, throw the seed and the soil's wet and then it tries to germinate and it's too cold and it won't grow. So you got
Even
to
when
put a little
there's
thought in.
snow on the ground too.
Yes.
A lot of guys do it.
Yep. And you do it in there, and as everything thaws and that soil splits, it sucks the seed down. And then as it thaw or freezes or frosts again, it hardens. And every time it thaws, it's going to suck that seed in and help it get that seed to soil contact you need for it to actually germinate when it's finally warm enough.
Badass. Now we're
It's
talking crazy shit.
it's
I'm
fun,
fucking
dude.
ready.
Like I said, we're rolling into spring. We're rolling into that next part of the season, because hunting does not end when the season ends. It just starts next season.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally season closed. Let's get to next season's plans the next day.
I think when the season closes, it never closes for us because it's always on the mind of what's next.
Right.
But it's you're always, even when the season's ending, like you like talk to a lot of people and they'll be like, "Is it bad that I'm already thinking about what's gonna happen next season?"
I'm like, no, we're already in the
No,
works
bro.
for planning for it and setting it up and getting things done and getting, you get this part of it done and then sheds come off and you're out there looking for sheds and you go, I found these sheds here. Why was that buck here late season?
Mm-hmm.
And trying to start playing that game. And then you go, well, we found this here. We know he's in this area. Let's play the camera game. And then you start doing the summer scouting and then you get into all that shit.
Then you start setting stands. I
Yes.
mean, you're doing that in August,
Clearing
July.
lanes, cutting lanes, making
Oh,
plans for entry and exits. And, so that way come opening day, you're not going, well, shit, where should I go? What should I do? You're going, okay, the weather's here. The wind's doing this. I know this is here. This is doing that. This is feeding here. I'm going here to get X. And you have a better chance. And that's, I don't know.
it
Call
never
me
ends.
call me an outdoor nerd.
Hey, listen, that's a whole different ballgame, bud.
But
No, I
yeah,
mean, it's never fucking ending, dude. Like today I hunted this morning and I am completely shot. It's 9:30 at night. I had to come home and take a nap like an old man because I was tired as shit.
I feel you, but I skipped the nap. I didn't have time.
Oh, man, I'm so glad I got like an hour nap and I was like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing in the world. I needed this." And it's never ending, dude. I didn't realize it, but I've been going hard since I don't even remember because it was started as fishing season and then it turned into deer season. Or well, actually, I'm sorry, it started turkey season and then it turned into, well, it was shed season before that. So it
Yeah.
never fucking ended.
Yeah.
But shed season, so it started turkey season.
Well, yeah,
Started
you
getting
rolled
up two,
shed
three
season and came
o'clock.
down here, and then shed season was also forage season,
Oh,
which rolled into you went home and did some shed, and then you went
I
back into
didn't.
turkey, and
I was
yeah.
wondering why I was so tired, and I was just when deer hunting came around, like this past couple weeks, I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to get up. I'm like just so shot. But I mean waterfowl hunting, so like when I hunt up north with Danny, ducks on the bay, I would literally start at 2 o'clock in the morning. It is draining.
Oh yeah, dude,
It's a
it's a workout.
12-hour thing. Like it's 12 hours. I'm not home until 2, 3 o'clock every single time I go up there. I don't care. We shot our limit today. We were done by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I still didn't get home until 3 o'clock. Like it's just never ending. We actually had a good time though. Today was a good trip. We had a fucking absolute blast. It's always a blast up there. Never lack thereof. Danny's on number 5 bands for the season. 3
Gee,
trips in a row. 5
hell yeah,
fucking bands. Like the dude is on fire. Like he's the band magnet.
dude, and you guys got some beautiful birds at that.
Yeah, we've been shooting a ton of really nice birds. I will say that. It's
Yeah,
been something else. He's just been putting us on so many birds. I mean, there's still got a ton of hunts together. Um, I try to go up there at least once to two times a week to hunt with Danny when he invites me up. But And then hunting with the other boys, like I'll hunt tomorrow, goose hunting in the morning, and then Wednesday I think we're gonna hunt again. I don't know. I want to try and kill a deer too somewhere around here.
Yeah, because time's running short, man.
Not that I
Real
need
short.
another deer, but it would be nice to go and just at least
Just finish the season
just
off.
hunt. I
Just
don't know.
that icing on the cake.
Well, January 1st, which would be last week,
Yeah,
I'll in podcast world, um, I get an extra I get another 2 tags.
right.
Like I fucking need another 2 tags. I have 3 still that I haven't filled, so I get another 2. So I have, it's just crazy. It's never ending, man. I love it, and we already got bucks dropping horns, man.
Yeah, I've seen a few pictures and people posting that shed off. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yep. So
That's nuts.
actually, it's kind of funny that we bring that up. So technically, this is going to release on Thursday. So tomorrow night, I will be leaving for Maine to go shed hunting for moose antlers on the
Already.
snowmobile. So it's kind of funny how this happened. So the other night, Captain Mike was texting me. He was like, "Hey, Trev, have you seen on the forum that they're already dropping antlers up in Maine?" Which they always do. I mean, around the
Yeah, they
first,
drop
second week,
earlier up there.
yeah, of January. But we always miss out on it, dude, because we don't have snowmobiles and we never really done that before. So, um, I'm like, well, we need some sleds, dude. Like, he's like, well, my buddy's got some, and I was like, well, my uncle's got some, and then I was like, bro, my best friend might have a connection for this. I said, and I think he'll enjoy to go with us. I said, why don't I call him up? So I called up Caddy Cowboy and I said, hey, man, I said, where can I rent some snowmobiles? And he's like, seriously, bro?
Well, I give you credit for rolling that in. You
Yeah.
can ask, hey, can I use yours? But hey, do you know a good way to do this on the cheap?
Well,
That's a
yeah,
good setup.
I didn't even know. Like, no, it wasn't even like that. It was just like, I didn't know they rented them. I was like, maybe he knew something. You know what I'm saying? He's like, seriously, bro? And I'm like, well, do you have any interest in going shed hunting with us next week or in 2 weeks? And he's like, yeah, man, I'd love to. I think I can make that work. And I was like, all right, let's fucking go. So
Oh yeah.
we're gonna drive up there. We got another buddy that has a camp. So we're gonna go stay. He doesn't even know it yet, but we still have the keys to his camp. So we're gonna go stay at his camp. So
Those are
what
the best plans.
uh
Surprise.
yeah, this is how I live my life, dude. So we're gonna drive about 5.5 hours Friday night up into Maine. We're gonna park the truck and we're gonna drive 25 miles on the sleds in the middle of the night into his cabin, stay there for the night, and then we'll get out and shed hunt in the morning. Even if we don't get a shed, man, just to get out for the weekend and kind
It'd
of
just be
go and
full
just.
be fun to go run the sleds around.
I've never been up there and sledded ever in my life. All my buddies, man, like being in northern New England, like all my buddies do. They always go up, like riding sleds. Like that's the thing, right? I've never been. It's never been my thing. We always ice fish this time of year. Well, there's not much ice, and I'd rather go shed hunting. So I'm just gonna go up there and fucking drive around and go on all these paths and stuff. And I made some connections with a couple of buddies. I contacted a buddy of mine, David Cook. He's from up that way, but he's a little bit more north. So I was asking him about some areas, and then our other buddy from Maine Moose Antlers contacted him. He was the guy that hooked us up when we were on foot
Right.
in May.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, any ideas? And then so he kind of turned me on to some things. And then I think he was saying sometime in May, he's going to go back up and camp again. So I might go back up and camp and do a little trek with Ruby. So we'll
Hell
see what
yeah.
happens.
That'd
I'm
be cool,
fucking
dude.
pumped. It's our shed season, dude. I'm fucking ready. Well,
Crazy.
it never ends. See, now it's gonna be fucking February, and then
Yep.
this is what it's all about, baby. It's what it's all about. I'm ready. I'm gonna go find a fresh paddle in the snow. That's what I'm ready for.
Dude, that'd be sweet. I really hope you
can't
do,
wait.
dude. You guys come back with 5 or 6 of them bad boys.
They're saying that they average like 7 to 15 a day on the sleds.
Holy crap.
There's that many. Like they say it's pretty insane. Like if you get into the areas,
Yeah.
like like untouched areas. Like a lot of times, like on the main tracks, that a lot of the groomers, they get a ton of them because they're the first ones out there. They're out there all night,
Right.
and they're the first ones to get them. But they're saying when you go off track a little bit and go on some of the old roads and stuff, that you'll find a lot of them there. So
Dude, that's freaking cool.
that's what they're saying. I don't know like the truth to it or not, but like if you hit like a good area that's been clear cutted, and it's their feeding area, and that's where they winter over, like they're feeding. What would you call that? Like they're
Browsing.
yeah, but like like they're like the moose yards. Like it would be like a moose yard. When you find those, they say it's fucking stupid, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be my first time doing it, so
Oh yeah, dude. Have
it's a lot of woods. A lot of woods up there.
That's the game.
It is what it is. So let's see what happens.
Shit, yeah, man.
Actually, speaking of funny stories, so the other day I was laying in bed and I should have been out hunting, but I wasn't. And my phone's ringing. I look at it and I'm like, yo, it's fucking crazy Mike Salter. Pick it up. Hey Mike, what's up, buddy? And he was in the tissy. He was like,
Yep.
I'm like, what happened, Mike? He's like, I missed. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. So I guess he missed a really big one that he's been after, and he was sending me pictures. And he said it was an absolute giant.
He sent me that message, and you know, my heart goes out to him. I said, dude, thank you for not making me be the only guy who missed the giant.
I think it was kind of crazy. So when I had gotten off the phone, it was kind of like one of those things. It was like a bittersweet kind of thing because I was like, I've never really gotten that kind of phone call before.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around.
He was all jacked up, dude, and I was like, "Thanks for bringing some love back to the sport, man." Because
Right.
that was fucking awesome.
Dude,
You know,
well,
like it was it for me right there.
Speaking of that, we now have some evidence as to what the one I did miss in Ohio.
Yeah, I haven't seen the
did.
pictures yet. I'm waiting. I heard that it definitely hit the ground. I had texted him today to find out if it was the other buck that I seen the first day.
The cemetery buck.
The cemetery buck is down. The Mr. Ohio ended up getting shot 2 weeks after we had left. Not very far. Now, like 1,000 yards away from where we were.
Yeah, I'm dying to see a picture and get confirmation of the reality of that deer.
15 or 16 points. They said it was north of 180.
Yeah. Now you guys understand my heartbreak.
I can't wait to see the picture. Once we get the picture, we'll definitely share it here just so everybody can see it. But yeah, we were on to some deer. This is I'll show you.
I'm more excited. I want to see the picture to confirm if it was indeed the same deer. That's my biggest thing, because there were 2 flyers off of his left side that weren't quite low enough to be a drop off the main beam. So that's really what I want to see is it the same deer?
So that's the cemetery buck.
Which is it's a horrible picture of that deer.
Horrible. Fucking horrible picture. I'll be honest with you. So this is it. I don't want to share his name. If you guys can see this, that's just to show how big he actually is.
Yeah.
But it's pretty crazy. He's an absolute stud. This deer was something else. You guys all, I don't know if you guys, I don't think you guys seen him.
Yeah.
That's him on trail camera. So that deer's down. And then I'm waiting to see Mr. Ohio. I'm waiting for that one, but it's down. We'll see what happens.
And congratulations to the guys who got him.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's fucking knockout, man. That's awesome. I'm 100%. That's why I'm so excited to see the pictures.
And that's the coolest thing, is that they cared enough that they let us know.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part.
Yeah, Cody's been kind of like keeping tabs on what's going on down there, and that he kind of went out of his way to let me know that deer was shot. He was in there. He was hunting the deer. We had let him know that the deer was in there. He hunted it. He was in the stand when it got shot by a shotgun. He was 600 yards away from him, 500 yards away from him.
Dude, Cody, I'm sorry, man. He
found an area. He got him on camera again. He was hunting him hard. So that's number 2 deer that's kind of he's been targeting that have been taken down. But listen, Don't let the boy fool you. He killed two
He's
giants
got some studs.
in West Virginia this year, so don't let him kid you. He did very well. Him and his grandfather and his father, so they shot 3 actually in West Virginia. So don't let him kid you. The boy's a killer. But yeah, so
Oh yeah,
it's all good. We'll see what happens next year, man. There's gonna be some good bucks still running around up there, and I think
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've already kind of got that itch.
oh, when I was talking to Cody today, dude, everything about me was just like, all right, I'm fucking ready, boy. Let's go.
I kind of almost want to just make that the traditional Halloween trip. It's
You're
getting
kidding.
it's getting hard to think about doing other things.
I'm going to some way, somehow, I will make a shotgun trip to Ohio shed hunting. I have to. I have to go see some things. Like
Get to know that better. I
there's
agree.
so much in my mind that like plays out like some of the areas because like we went like from truck to stand and like never really like explored other than in the rain. I think there's a lot of stuff that's missing. But
all right, so Bones, put that in your pocket. Just saying.
Inside.
Yeah.
And no, let's keep the camp simple, okay? Simple. Don't not a lot of people. We don't. No.
Just remember, make yourself at home.
Yeah, and don't pussyfoot around and turn the motherfucking lights on.
That's right. That's right.
No, it's funny. I love it because like we went down there, we hunted, and then now everybody's kind of like, and it's no dig to nobody, but it's just like everyone's like, oh, I'm thinking about going to Ohio to go hunting. Go hunt Ohio and start hunting.
What's holding you back?
I'm not telling you where I was though. No fucking way.
We were on that southern border of the state.
We were somewhere in between Albuquerque and fucking Mexico. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But
Emmercoos deer.
We should probably thank some people and get on with this show. We're getting a little silly.
Yeah, let's rock it, man. Go ahead and hit them out,
man. So first off, I want to thank Nor'easter Game Calls, nor'eastergamecalls.com. If you guys haven't gotten over there, Mark's doing some crazy shit in the shop. He just turned out something incredible. His jaw dropped when I picked the fucking blank, to be honest with you. I made him make me a goose call, and he was digging through the box and everything, and he's like, you want this one? You want this one? I'm like, no, what's that one? He shows me. He's like, dude, I don't know, man. That's been in there for 2 years. I haven't found the right home for it. I said, I did. It's right here. Turn that fucking thing up. So pictures we posted about that. But Nor'easter Game Calls, go and check them out, man. Some custom stuff, some really good stuff over there. Timber Tumblers. Get your custom tumbler at timbertumblers.com. If you guys haven't already, go over there. I know a couple of the listeners, supporters, lovers, they went over there and they've ordered a couple of the outdoor drive ones or make your own custom ones. Wild Edge Inc., willedgeinc.com, the leader in mobile hunting. Broadside Camo, broadsidecamo.com. They are the photorealism camouflage for the aerial hunter. Out on the Limb MFG.com. They are the custom
Custom.
Yeah,
custom.
They're just straight custom,
if
man.
you want to hunt, want it custom.
They're straight damn custom. Wicked Twisted Bowstrings, wickedtwistedbowstrings.com. Get your custom bowstrings. She will mail all over the country. So if you guys haven't ordered yours yet, you guys are a fool. So thank you guys. We appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, we got someone special sitting in the waiting room ready to
I'm excited.
us. And I think this one can kind of go all over the map. So I'm excited, man.
I'm just gonna kick this out here real quick before we turn that page. I think it's one of those ones where it's parental advisory needed. I think it's gonna go that way.
Explicit content, parental advisory necessary.
I have a feeling. I have a very good feeling.
Hey, if it does, it does. If it don't, it don't. But
probably
we're just gonna let this thing rock.
To me, probably one of the most badass woman hunters there is in the industry, in my opinion.
Yeah, and about as far from a huntress as you're ever gonna find.
You're not gonna know.
She's straight up real. So
let's
screw
get
it.
around.
Let's go ahead and just do this.
Matt.
Nice shot. Here comes a shooter. Shooter. Big buck. Stacked.
You're hot.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I wasn't talking to you.
I was like, what is going on right now?
No, we're recording.
There's an introduction for you.
Oh, we're back on the phone with Jenn. How are you?
I'm good. What's up?
Same old. What's up with you? You just flew in. You're in a hotel?
Yeah, I'm the jet-setting hairstylist over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't even unpacked. You literally walked in the room and jumped on.
Yeah, I grabbed a bottle of water because I've been drinking in first class on my plane. So I think
Oh, damn.
it'd be a good idea.
I love it.
Nothing wrong with that. So where in the world are you?
So right now I'm in Maryland. I'm from Maryland, but when COVID happened in March, I said, fuck it, and moved to South Carolina. I had a vacation house down there that I bought so I could fox hunt down there in the winter. And so I moved down there, and when my salon opened back up, I had to figure out how to get to work. And that's a plane.
That's awesome. I think that's the greatest ride to work ever.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's
so.
really fast.
Right.
Oh, my God.
So what do you do for work? We got to clarify this.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I guess it could be a lot of things, but I own a hair salon in Maryland with a bunch of girls that work for me, and I also do hair too. So I fly up and work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I fly back to South Carolina on Thursday.
That's crazy.
Right. And you're not just a hair salon. From what I understand, you were actually voted in with some honors this year.
Yeah, actually for a couple years we've been voted best in Baltimore for the salon, and then I've been this year nominated best hairstylist in Baltimore. So I have luckily built a really good clientele with some local celebrities who play football and baseball and the news and that kind of stuff. So that's helped kind of get my name out for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that too.
Thank you so much.
So why don't we take one time out here? Why don't we turn the key, put this thing into overdrive, and explain to everybody who you are and where you're from and what you do?
I mean, I don't even know who the hell I am. What do you mean? Tomorrow I might be something else. I don't even know. So anyway, my name's Jenn Cubbage. I am originally from Maryland. I now live in South Carolina, South Kakalaki. I am a Yankee, evidently. That's what they call me down there. And started hunting last year, but I have always been outside since I was a kid. No one in my family is an outdoors person, so they have no idea where the fuck I came from. So
I love it. That's perfect.
yeah, I mean, they have no idea where I came from.
So you had no background in hunting at all?
No. You want to hear this funny story?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay. So last September, I was hanging out by myself because I'm single, and, I was drinking some cocktails and listening to music. And I was like, where am I going to go on vacation this fall? Because normally I go hiking or, take pictures of the foliage. And for some reason, I was like, man, I want to go shoot some hogs. And I was like, let's go figure out where I can do this. So I'm on the computer and I'm Googling like hog hunts. And I was like, well, there's hogs in South Carolina. I own a house down there. Let me find a place in South Carolina. So, I drink and I'm like, I called a couple people and I called Garrett, Modern Assassin. I said, hey, dude, I know you hunt. You know anybody that does hog hunts? And he's like, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Well, 2 hours later, I had already booked a goddamn hog hunt. Like, I put on Facebook like a picture of like the hog hunt outfit or whatever. And he calls me, he's like, dude, you called me 2 hours ago. And I said, yeah, I wasn't waiting. I wanted to do this. And he said, you need a hunting license. And I said, no, I don't need a hunting license. What do you mean? I said, I'm going out with these guys. They do it all. And he's like, no, Jenn, you need a hunting license. So I booked this trip. I had no hunting license. I had plenty of guns because I've been shooting guns for a while, but I had no hunting license. So I had to find somewhere in September when everybody's trying to get a hunting license, to take the test, to do all the things. So I had to drive out to Western Maryland to the only spot within this time frame so I could do this hunt. And I got 100%. I was like the highest in my class. So I killed it. I was really excited about that. But I went on a hog hunt. And it was my first experience and it was awesome.
So what happened? Play by play. We need to hear about this.
Oh, well, it was some shit, man. I show up, I'm driving, my pristine white Ford Platinum, and I'm going down these back roads, and these are like, I'm in the low country of South Carolina. So I pull in, and there's vultures everywhere. And I'm like, where the hell am I? And then I look straight ahead, and there's a goddamn monster truck. Like the ones that you see on TV, and there's vultures flying around, and I literally started laughing, and I said, how do I get myself into this shit? Like, how do I find this stuff? So I must have sat in my truck for a while thinking about where I was, and Darlene runs out. She's like the house mom of the camp. And she's like, oh, you're Jenn, nice to meet you. And she comes out and she's like, well, I'm not going to put you in the room with the boys because there's 20 other guys there. And I guess it's all bunks and everybody's sharing bunks. And so they put me in a camper in the back, probably for liability purposes. It was probably a bad idea for me to be sharing bunks with these guys. And anyway, I go back in my trailer and I think I probably need some stuff. I have nothing. I don't have a pack. I don't have a light. I mean, I don't have anything. And by that, that time I didn't know what I needed. I never hunted before. So I called Garrett and I was like, dude, should I have some stuff? Like, what kind of stuff should I have? And he just starts laughing at me. He's like, you are such an idiot. He's like, why are you now calling me and you're already there? So I had to drive 2 hours to Walmart to get like my pack, and I bought a knife so I could stick a hog. Like I got all the stuff, and I come back and I legit thought this guy, my what do you call the outfitter guy that takes you the
guide?
Yeah, guide. Yeah, that guy. My guide. I thought he was gonna be in the tree with me or something, right? So I get in the car with 4 other dudes, and mind you, I'm carrying my 300 blackout. Like, if I was in Maryland driving around with 300 blackout, I'd be locked up. Like,
welcome to the South.
Down there. Yeah, they are crazy down there. So anyway, they're driving around with all these pistols and rifles and everything. And the guy drops me off on the side of the road. And I was like, so what do I do? And the guy's like, you just follow the streamers and you'll see a stand. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing, but I tried to act like I knew what I was doing. So I get to the stand and I texted Garrett again. I was like, so do I need like straps or what do I need? Like, and he said, send me a picture of it. It's this giant buddy stand, like 15 feet in the air. And I'm petrified because I've never climbed with my gun or anything.
This is awesome.
Dude, it was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, the videos I took they were just so funny because I literally was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't even, like, how do I climb with a gun? I didn't even have a strap for my gun. So I'm climbing this ladder with a loaded gun. I mean, don't listen to this, kids. This is bad. So anyway, when I went to go hunt hogs, I said, well, if I'm here, I'll hunt whatever. So I could hunt deer too. And a spike came out. It was a corn pile. So a spike came out and I could only shoot 8 pointers at this spot. So I hear something blowing at me, like probably 50 yards in. And I've never heard a deer before. I don't even know what a deer is. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like sitting there looking around and then I see horns and I was like, motherfucker, that was a deer. And like, I just literally had no idea what I was doing. I have no idea. I thought I had a guide with me and he just drops me off in the woods. So I knew that was bad when I heard this thing blowing at me and it ran off. So I didn't say anything when they picked me up. They said, "Oh, did you see anything?" And I told them I saw a spike. So I get back to camp and we're all eating dinner, you know, drinking and having a good time. And one of the older guys is like, "Oh, Jenn, how long have you been hunting?" I literally stand up and I was like, "Well, today is my first day." And they look at me and they're like, "Shut up." And I was like, "No, today's actually my first day." And they're all like my best friends ever since then.
That's so
so badass.
awesome.
Dude, it was so cool. It was so cool. But so that night I didn't shoot anything. I don't think it was 4 days. I didn't shoot anything the second day. The third day I actually shot a hog in the morning and he didn't die. And I called my guide and I said, "I shot this hog. He's walking around with his guts hanging out. Like, do I shoot him again or what do I do?" And he's like, "Well, you said you want to stick a hog. Go stick him."
Oh,
So
shit.
So,
Oh my God.
so I waited for him to come and he's like, "Do you want to use my handgun or do you want to stick him?" And I said, "Fuck it, I'll stick him." So I get my knife out and oh, mind you, I live on a farm, so I understand about
Right.
pigs, horses. I've raised pigs. I had 75 head of pig last year. So I know about hogs. So I go up and grab his back leg and stab him. And that was my first hog kill.
Jesus. Beast mode.
Which was like, I got to shoot him and I got to stick him. Like, I was like, hell yeah. And ever since then, I've been chasing that adrenaline ever since then.
Yeah.
So then the next night, I decided to hunt with their dogs. They have cur dogs in the dark. So they set the cur dogs loose and you go on foot to try to find where they're getting these hogs. So they get my hog and they bay him up in the I guess it's a goddamn swamp. And we're in the low country, it's a swamp. So the guy that owns it was his dogs, and he looked at my guide and he's like, "Austin, you got to take one for the team. I'm not going in there." And Austin's like pussyfooting around and shit. And I was like, "All right, Austin, all y'all, get back, stop pussyfooting around." I went in the swamp and grabbed my hog. It was a 100-pound hog, and whipped it out on the bank. And they're screaming at me, "Watch out for the dogs!" Because the dogs are trying to bite at the pig, and I'm getting the pig in my arms. So I throw it on the bank, and they both look at each other. They grab the pit bulls, and then I stab them in one. I poked them once, and it's dead. And they both looked at each other, and they said, "Who the fuck is this bitch?"
Talk about, yeah.
My thing is I just paid you money, and you're gonna sit on the sidelines and like just look at my pig getting drowned by your pit bull? Like, come on now. So I had to handle that situation.
What in the world? Like, how do you get yourself into this? That's what I want to know.
Dude, you don't even. I feel sorry for my really good girlfriends because they get some crazy ass phone calls. I mean, I drove off the side of a ditch the other day with my truck.
I saw the
like,
pictures.
Oh man, it didn't look that bad, but I mean, I was hanging like I was.
Your rear tires were off the ground.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
It was so bad, and I was at the fox pen, and I didn't want to call the guy to like tell him I messed up, and I drove off the road. So I called my girlfriend. I was like, "Please help me get this truck out of this ditch, so I don't have to call anybody." But I do. I get myself into some situations.
Wow, epic!
I love it. I think it's kind of crazy because everybody kind of goes or starts the sport at a different level, right? So like when you're going to begin into the sport, like somebody sometimes have mentors, but I've never really heard of anybody jumping into the sport head first, arms back, like I'm in this, fuck it, let's go. And they don't start with pigs. I mean, at least you had some type of background.
Freaking sticks a pig
Oh
on their own for the hell of it for their first kill.
Well, and what sucks is I haven't gotten a pig this year, and it's pissing me off. Like, and I've been hunting all public land other than when I'm dog hunting with the dogs for deer. And I almost don't care about the deer right now. I am like on a mission to get a hog by January 1st.
Hell yeah. Well, time's running out.
But you're just hunting public land in South Carolina for the hogs?
And deer. Yeah.
And deer.
Uh-huh. So I had, when I hunted up in Maryland last year, I was lucky enough to have like 2 100-acre farms I was allowed to hunt. And that's where I actually shot my first doe with my bow. And that was in December. So I picked, when I came home from that hog hunt, I went and bought a bow and decided I wanted to learn how to bow hunt.
You just went straight down the rabbit hole. Jeez.
So I taught myself for a little bit, and then Garrett, Modern Assassin, called me and was like, let me just show you some stuff. I see what you're posting on Facebook and like my groups and everything. And he's like, let me just show you some things. So he took 10 minutes out of his day and showed me all that about anchor points. And because I don't know about any of that. Like I was legit just shooting my bow. And I love shooting my bow. It's very kind of Zen-like. I just love shooting my bow. So when I started shooting my bow, a lot of guys were like, don't get discouraged. It takes people a long time to, get their first deer with their bow. Well, it took me 2.5 months and I got my first deer. So I was pretty proud of myself. I missed several times and had to figure out what I was doing wrong. And I did shoot a 7-point buck, but the shot was bad. But luckily, it was really bad to where like I didn't hit them in any vital organs or anything. So it's all learning experience. I mean,
absolutely.
I learned something every time, and I could not figure out why that shot was bad. Well, it was bad because I threw my bow in my back seat every goddamn day, and my sight was loose as shit. So, that'll do it. So, I learned all kinds of stuff.
That's crazy. It's just nuts. And I don't mean to laugh. Like it's not like
I laugh at myself.
I love it. I think it's incredible.
I do too. I don't even know what to say.
About learning the hard way.
Words.
Well, I'll just tell you what I did after that. So I wanted to go sika hunt, and I wanted to sika hunt before I killed my first deer. And I was told by multiple people, do not do that. You need to focus on getting your first deer. So once I got my first deer, I went and bought some waders. And I took a climber out to the marsh by myself, and I hunted all day in the marsh with my walking stick, walking through the marsh. And my first set in the morning, I didn't go too far in the marsh because I was a little scared of these goddamn snakeheads. I love fish, so I fish. I'm an avid fisherman, and I fish a lot. And I hate those fish. I love catching them, but I'm scared of them. I don't want them to bite me. So I'm walking through the marsh, and I know this is where those fuckers live. So I'm like petrified. So in the morning, I was not okay walking in the marsh in the dark. So when I did my afternoon set, I walked, I think I had to walk 3 miles to the spot, to this island in the marsh. And I'll tell you, it is beautiful out there.
Isn't it something else?
Right? I haven't. Steven has.
I was trying to get Trev out there this year, but it didn't line up. I
mean, it's the beauty that you see out there is insane. And I actually had one at, I guess it was about 35 yards in the frag grass. And so you could see, they call them the marsh ghosts. You can see like a little fleck of them and then they're gone, and you just see the grass move. And I heard them bugle, and even now I get goosebumps like thinking about how cool that was. So
oh yeah.
I'm walking out in the dark, and the thing is that this marsh is like, you can hit a pole and you'll be up to your head in the water, and it's black water. It's black water.
Literally.
It's black water. So I finally hike out and I get to the main road and I start bawling. I'm a girl, so I was crying. And I just couldn't believe that I did it. Like, I went out, I'm afraid of these stupid fish. I hiked out through the marsh. I found a tree. I saw the sika. I heard the sika. Like, I didn't shoot at a sika, but that enough was like, I conquered.
Absolutely.
And I'm bawling, and all of a sudden this old man pops out from like beside the tree, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I just survived the marsh by myself," and I'm bawling, and he's like, "I've never seen a woman go in there by herself." He's like, "You have some balls," and I just kept walking.
Yep, that's them locals out there.
They're awesome. So that was like a really cool way to end my season last season. I mean, I hunted public land last year in South Carolina for deer. I hunted that the outfitter in South Carolina. I hunted for hog in public land, South Carolina, and then private land in Maryland and public land in Maryland. So I feel like for like my first 3 months of hunting, I kind of did a good job, even though
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot of stuff, you know?
My hat's off to you.
Yeah, for sure.
For a first season, you knocked out a lot of firsts that a lot of people still haven't done.
Yeah, but you know, it's so aggravating because you look online and you see all this big deer and all this stuff that people are killing, and I'm like, I don't have that much to show for it, but I do have a really good time. And you know what? That's all that matters.
You went out and stuck a pig on your first hunt ever. That tops a lot. Just saying.
I think that like what you've done is like achieved way more than shooting a big buck. I think you should get that out of your head because like,
Yes.
and I think a lot of people are like that. And I think that's where social media becomes such a negative thing. Like it doesn't matter that you shoot a big buck. It's like whatever that your goal is and you've achieved it. Like you're like, I'm going to go and stick a pig. You did that, which is fucking out of this world. Like that's like my number one thing to do is I want to stick a pig, but I
Dude, come on down.
Right?
I want to kill one with a knife. Like it's been my goal since the beginning. You can ask any of my friends. Like that's all I want to do. So when I heard that, I was like, all right, hold on, time out. Like that's fucking nuts. But to do that, that's a huge accomplishment. To go into the swamp, to kill a deer. I mean, it's just, that's a whole nother thing. And like the things that you're learning, and you did it all by yourself. There's like nobody's out there helping you.
Yeah.
That's huge. And a lot of people won't do that.
Well, I don't have any other choice. You know what I mean?
I
think it's
that's
the game breaker right there. That's
it's very
difference.
inspiring. That's
Either
what I'm
you
saying.
want to do it and you're going to go friggin' do it regardless.
Yeah.
Or you want to do it, but you wait until someone holds your hand.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to do it.
Exactly.
I don't have time to wait for anybody. That's for sure.
And that's not the end of it though. So what happened this season? Like what's up with these fox dogs and all this stuff? Because like, well, how did you get into that? Because there's got to be some crazy ass story for that too.
Well, okay, so I fox hunted in Maryland with horses where you dress up fancy and there's the guy with the red jacket and they have, you know, about 50 hounds that you follow and it's just more so like prestige and being pretty and not really about the hunt.
It's traditional. Yeah, it's the same way here where I'm at in Virginia. It's very traditional.
Correct. And I love it. I love the tradition, but I think that might have actually helped me get into thinking about hunting, you know, because I wanted to know what were they doing with that fox or what were they doing with that coyote. So when I moved down to South Carolina, I've met a lot of people and a lot of the guys that hunt, they dog hunt for deer.
Yep.
And that's not a thing in Maryland, at least
No.
where I lived in Maryland, like that wasn't allowed. So a lot of these guys have their own pack of hounds and they take care of them all year and they hunt with deer. So I said, fuck it. I have 10 acres. I only use like 5 of them. I got 5 acres. I can get some hounds. So I called a couple of the huntsmen with the foxhounds, the clubs that I know. And I said, hey, I know you guys usually call some of these dogs that you have or hounds that you have that chase deer. If you guys have any, let me know and I'll come get them off your hands. So I got 2 retired, well, they're not really retired, but retired from fox hunting.
Yeah.
I got 2 foxhounds. And then I bought a couple, you know, thank God for Facebook. I bought some dogs off of Facebook and I created my own pack of hounds. And I figured now it's time to figure out how to dog hunt.
Yeah, that's a whole new world.
Holy shit.
It is not easy. Let me tell you. I thought that it would be easy. The dogs go in, they chase the deer out, you shoot it, it's done. That shit is crazy. First of all, you have like a road that's 6 feet wide or 8 feet wide. It's like a 1-lane dirt road. And then there's a guy 50 yards away from you who, if a deer comes out, you both are shooting at each other. Like, that's not okay.
Welcome to the South.
So it is like, I love the South. Y'all crazy.
We're nuts.
So,
We're little nuts.
so you literally have, an 8-foot wide driveway or road or whatever, and you guys are shooting at this deer that's running between you. And sometimes there's rules, like you can't shoot does on a certain day. And this
Nope.
is like usually at dog hunting clubs, or we'll hunt the government woods with dogs too, or public land with dogs on certain days that they allow it.
Right.
But on those days, there's rules about if you can shoot a buck or a doe or the size and that kind of stuff. So you literally have 3 feet when this deer is hauling ass across the street to decide if you can shoot it or not. And by the way, you're only using buckshot.
Yep.
Only using buckshot.
Yeah, strictly buckshot. You don't use slugs.
So you have
Buckshot's more dangerous.
It's more dangerous, but you need a BB to go in like a specific area. You know what I mean? Like I think it's harder to kill with buckshot, in my opinion.
I agree.
But not your fellow
agree.
neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, believe me, I have gotten sprayed with buckshot this year, and it's scary as shit because you're like, where is it coming from? And I mean, there is some adrenaline. And then all of a sudden, if the deer crosses and somebody misses, like it was a legit deer, you either have to stop the dogs because they're going onto somebody else's property, or you got to go get around the deer. So then you're like Dukes of Hazzard in your truck down these roads trying to get in front of the deer. I mean, it's some crazy shit. Like the adrenaline with this dog hunting is crazy. And so I like the adrenaline rush of hunting the deer that way. But like as far as still hunting, I love the peacefulness, zen, that kind of thing with the still hunting. So it's hard to decide what I like. That's the problem.
I'm lost. Like for the first time in my life, I am lost without words. I'm not really sure.
Trev, we need to bring you down here and let you experience a dog hunt. So I don't do it down here very often. That the property that we're working on right now is surrounded. That is a dog hunting mecca. That's all they do. So we're about the only still hunters in the county. They look at us like we're stupid.
Yeah, they usually don't like each other.
Yes. But we use it to our advantage because the dogs run the deer through our property. But we have gone out and done dog hunts with them, and it is like it's nuts. It's insane. It really is. It's you hear the dogs bang, you hear them coming towards you, and you're like, oh crap, I know there's a deer coming this way, but where is it? And then boom, it's there. Either shoot or you missed.
Well, and what's crazy is you can tell, now I can tell or kind of tell if it's a buck or if it's a doe, or because bucks are smarter and they'll just kind of skim and go around in circles. But I'm telling you, when you're standing on top of this truck, like I usually stand on the dog box so I can shoot down. I feel a little bit safer shooting down. And there's 100 hounds running at you full force. I mean, your heart is pumping out of your chest and you have no idea where this thing's going to jump out. Like it's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It sounds like coon hunting on steroids.
It is. It's not stopping in a tree. It's going to run by and you better be ready to shoot.
Yeah. And if you miss, you will hear about it. Oh God.
Oh yeah. Shirt tails.
Oh yeah. They'll cut your shirt tails. I mean, all kinds of stuff. But this year I actually killed my first buck and my first deer behind or in front of the hounds. It was a 4-point buck, which isn't like a huge thing, but
doesn't matter.
Down there, brown is down. Like they shoot
everything.
But he was a cool little buck. He had like one antler was like an inch high with a fork, and the other one was like probably 12 inches high with a fork. So he was a weird looking dude. And I got a picture with it on one of the side by sides, and the hounds are like biting at it. And I mean, it's just such a cool experience. And the way that they blooded me was bad.
Oh yeah. Like, they get nasty.
Did you guys see those pictures?
I did. Yeah.
I mean, literally the gut bucket. I got the gut bucket.
Yep.
So that was great.
Yeah. Trev, do you guys have shirt tails up there? Do you guys do shirt tails? Jen, please explain that.
So basically, if you miss, they cut your shirt in the back. So you have to walk around with a cut shirt.
They pull your shirt out and cut it.
So that they know that you missed.
Tail. That's
So
your punishment for
everybody
missing.
at the club knows that you missed, and you just
and
look
then
like a jackhole.
a lot of places will actually tack your shirt tail on their wall.
Yes.
So it's like a wall of shame. You missed, you
sure.
get your shirt tail cut. They put it on the wall in the club, and you will forever be known as someone who missed.
Yeah.
That's nuts. This is a whole new world to me. Like I feel like I lived in a closet my entire life.
I mean, I did too, but like, thankfully, I just started hunting. So, I mean, I just dove right in. I don't know what, I mean, these people in the South are crazy. They are really crazy about, I mean, they're nuts, but they're all so fun and so open, and everybody just wants you to do well. And I think hunting with a club or a group of guys that all are into dog hunting is cool, because like, they have to take care of these dogs all year. It's a lot of work. And I don't think people realize how much work goes into it, into training the dogs to hunt the deer. And, you know, I'm learning every day. I mean, I don't know shit compared to these people for sure.
So do they take all the dogs from the whole entire club and put them all at once and they all go out?
No,
Or is it
so
like your
basically
pack goes or?
So basically they have like, say like they have 3,000 acres, and then they have it broken into blocks. I don't know, like 30 to 100 acre blocks. And everybody will surround the block at a stand. They call it like certain areas a stand where the deer normally
Now, do
cross.
they make you guys draw for your stands, or do you just
I
randomly
think
pick?
each club's different. This club, the dogmen or the people with the hounds, they can pick their stand, and then the standers that don't have dogs, they fill in between.
Okay.
So that the dogs are surrounding the whole block. And then basically you're on these CBs, and whoever's the hunt master will get on the CB and say, you know, turn them loose, or cast your hounds, or whatever they say. And then everybody puts their hounds in and they flush. Now what's cool is like, once a race starts, once they jump a deer and like the hounds start going off and making a lot of noise, the other hounds, a lot of them will go follow them. So then they rush to wherever the noise is, and it's even more hounds on that deer. And the smart bucks, if it's a big smart buck, he won't get up. He'll just lay there until it's a bunch of dogs that get him to get up, or they'll go find water and stand in the middle of the water. I mean, it's crazy. It's not as easy as you think. These deer are really smart, I guess, because they're used to them being hunted that way.
They literally know how to get out of the scent, how to hide from the dogs. When you're out walking, so like if you're pushing behind the hounds or going to look for the hounds, it's not uncommon that you will nearly step on the deer. They will sit there and not move an inch until you step on them, because they know that if I move, those dogs are on me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
It's like a whole nother thing. I mean, you know, there's bow hunting, and then there's just so much to talk about with it. I love it so much. And then on top of that, in the off season, then you run field trials with some of these dogs in the fox pen, and that's how you train them and keep them exercised. And I'm still learning about all that, because not all dogs can be a deer dog and a fox dog. Some can, some can't. So these fox pens, we didn't have those in Maryland either, but they're basically like 30 or up to a couple hundred acres, and they're packed with coyotes and fox that people trap, and the person pays for them, and you pay $5 a dog and you run them. So like, I have one dog I bought to just be a fox pen dog, and in July or January is when they have those hunts during the weekends. And you put a number on them, and basically there's judges at all the crossings, and you get judged if you come in like first, second, or third place, and the dogs run like 3 to 5 hours. And that's a whole nother cool thing to get into, because that kind of started and is kind of paired with fox hunting on horses. Like they're kind of together in some ways.
That's nuts. So with that, like, so when you were saying that the dogs can't do both, is that because they'll run whitetails?
I think it's a different type of running. So, and look, I'm just learning about all this.
Right, of course.
In a fox pen, they have a lot of trails and roads. And sometimes when there's a race that's starting, a dog will say, okay, well, there's no game over here, and he will hit the road to cut off the game to get into that race. Now, in the deer woods, they can't really do that. They can't run the roads. They call them road runners, and it's like definitely a no-no. So, and I guess people who have deer dogs, they don't want them to hunt coyote, but they do. I mean, I shot a coyote this year, dog hunting deer, because a coyote came right out. I mean, they even ran a turkey one time, and I swear to God, it was a buck, and all of a sudden, this big old tom comes flying out, and I mean, it would have been so cool because I could have just shot him in the air, but it wasn't turkey.
Out of season. Yeah.
I can see it slinging buckshot. These hillbillies down in the south. This is all I can think about, dude.
Calm down.
I know what that's like. I was a kid and they did that shit up here, and I know what buckshot's all about. I'm all set with that. And these crazy hillbillies down there that, oh man, I couldn't even imagine.
Dude, it's crazy down there. It is absolutely crazy.
Oh, dude,
I
that's
love it.
nuts. Now, do you run your dogs for hogs too? Like, is that like a thing, or different breed of dogs, or
No,
or did you just buy 15 curs and that's what you're gonna do? Like,
all right. So I've been well, not really still hunting. I've been stalking hogs by myself in public land, and it can be done, but you have to hike like 14 miles a day. And I unfortunately have a sciatic nerve issue this year, so I'm hiking like up to 10 miles some days, but it's a lot. So what I've decided is I do need some hog dogs. And I've talked to some people about, they said I should probably buy a catch dog instead of trying to train one, because it's very hard to train. But I already have a dog that bays hogs on my farm. I have a hog that gets loose, and I have a Weimaraner that chases him and bays him up.
Yep.
So he needs a job, even though he's a bird dog. He bays this hog up. So I have 2 Walker puppies that I'm going to have kind of him train after deer season's over, because you can hunt hogs with dogs, I think, until like March or April or something, and some of these public lands. So I have 2 puppies that I'm going to see if they'll bay a hog. And I'll have my own pack of hog dogs.
Jeez. Wild.
I love you jumped right into this 1 year, and now you have
running packs
different
for
kinds of
species.
dogs, and
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a mess.
You've taken this addiction to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like, it is all I want to do. I mean, and I have a boat. I fish. Like, I have a big boat that I can take out in the bay, or I can take out in the ocean. And once down there, season opens August 15th, I haven't seen my boat. Like, my boat has literally been sitting since August 15th because there's too much stuff down here for me to hunt to like go on my boat. That's yeah, it's a problem. I have to try to figure out how to fit all of this stuff in my life, because it's fox hunting season right now too. And I've only fox hunted twice this season. So I figured January 1st, when the deer season closes, then I'll start fox hunting on horseback for a couple months. Because it's just hard to find time for everything.
It sounds like you have really bad problems.
Yeah, high class problems. High class.
Damn.
I know it is first world problems, that's for sure.
And so after that, how long does fox season go for?
Normally that's until April. And I did turkey hunt last year by myself, public land. And the first hunt that I went on, I actually walked and tried to scout for turkeys before that, so I knew where they were. And I actually had a tom come out on me, and it was too slow for me to get my gun to shoot him, because then he popped back into the woods. But I called him in, like the first hunt I called in this
Wow.
tom. And I was so mad that I blew it.
That's a feat in itself right there. First time calling and you brought in a bird. That's not an easy thing to do.
Well, I only had a little box call, so it was
doesn't matter. You don't know how many people go out and go, oh, I'm going to call a turkey. And they can do that for 10 years and never actually bring a bird in.
Wow.
So
yeah, I don't know a lot of turkey hunt. Thank you. I was so mad, but I also didn't realize how smart those birds were. And my gun, I have like an old. I was using the first gun.
Yes, I saw it. I had to chuckle when you posted that picture. I was like, I guess if you're gonna do it, old school's the way to go.
Well, and that's all I had was this old school over under, trophy, and it's shiny as shit. I mean, they had I was so stupid. But now I have a legit gun that I can use. That's like
I'm not gonna lie. I was pulling for you. I wanted to see you smoke something with that over under.
oh man, I
That would
wish.
be so badass.
Thank you. I'm a mess. And you know what's so funny is all these internet people that are just so smart and they just know everything. They feel the need to say, well, that's not the type of gun that you need to use. I understand that, but I'm not going to go buy a gun just to turkey hunt like right now. Like turkey hunting isn't one of my like main things. So I wasn't just going to go buy a gun to turkey hunt. And I just made do with what I had, you know?
Well, see, that's one of the negative things. So like they're saying, and I hate to bring this up and I always do constantly, but like people are always like, well, that's not the right gun for that. Well, maybe I didn't fucking know. And what does it really matter? You know, like, why are you going to break down on some, like, they don't know that you're a first year hunter. You didn't know. You're just out there trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make whatever I have work, you know?
Yes.
But to be honest, they better watch their fucking mouth or they're going to end up stabbed like a hog. That's what I feel is going to come on. Like,
fuck around and find out, right?
yeah, seriously,
Hey,
fuck around and find out.
That's true. I do drive around with that knife on my dashboard, so you never know. And maybe it'll come in handy.
I got to ask, how big was the knife? Like, did you go and get like a little knife or did you get a knife?
No, well, listen, it probably should have been bigger. Like these guys are walking around with like these machete things that are probably like 12
Bowie
inches
knives.
long, like a 12-inch blade. Mine's probably about like a 6-inch blade, I guess, 8-inch blade. So it's not as big as it could be.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like-
I picture you as a stiletto kind of stabber.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't that short for sure, but it's probably 6 to 8 inches long. And I drive around with it in my truck. You just never know when you need to stab something.
All I can think of is like, what is that? Davy Crockett. Now that's a knife, you know, like that's
No, Crocodile Dundee.
yeah, Crocodile Dundee. That's what it is. Now
Yeah.
that's a knife.
Oh, Lord.
That big old Bowie sticker.
Jesus. So what else is in the realm of Jenn? Like what else do you have in your trick of sleeves or sleeve
Repertoire.
tricks?
I don't know. So I booked a mountain lion hunt for this year. I actually told the guy I couldn't go because with my business being closed down for 4 months and everything, I just felt like it was irresponsible for me to spend all that money to go to Idaho. So he actually offered for me to do it next year. So
Awesome.
yeah, which is super cool. He's like, I know you're looking forward to it. Like we do the same offer if you want to come in December. So next December, I'm going to do a mountain lion hunt.
You gonna do it with a knife?
Well, you know, I was dumb enough to think I was going to do this with a bow. But thinking about, you have to shoot, they use dogs too.
Yep,
So they
yep.
put it up in a tree and you've got to shoot in these thick pine trees. And I was like, that's just stupid. Because if I miss and I get landed on by a cougar, that's going to be a problem.
It's
And
a
that's what's gonna happen, yeah.
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 No, that they jump down on you. That's like one of the first things that they tell you. Like if you don't kill it, it's coming down. The first thing it's doing is leaping right onto you. Because
Yeah.
you're looking right up at it, and the first thing it does is it jumps down.
Yeah, so I'm going to use a gun for that, I think. I think that'll be on safe side.
Yeah. Yeah, it better be safe than sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
that's no hog.
You'll learn
Well,
that when you hear a cat scream at you from overhead,
no.
even if you know it's there, will still curl your blood.
Oh, really? I bet.
Oh, it is insane. It's probably the scariest sound I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I mean, they're just scary.
They're
They could kill you.
they're badass animals, period.
Yeah.
Can we put this in the calendar after you kill your cat over there? I need to hear this story live on the
Yeah,
podcast.
let's just
because-
book this for New Year's next year.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm super excited to do it. Well, you know, so that's going to happen next year, but the rest of this year, so I work in the salon until I fly out Thursday, so that's Christmas Eve. I'm going to get home at around 11 and I'm going to pack my kayak up. I've decided I know where these hogs are, but I need my kayak to go down the swamp to get them. So I'm going to pack my 300 blackout in my kayak and I'm going to kayak to these hogs on New Year's
Hell
Day.
yeah.
What day is it? Christmas Eve. So they are just where no one is. So I need to take my kayak down there to get to them.
That's awesome.
So I'm super excited about that. Like I just feel like that's going to be a good challenge. But I can't get a real big hog because there's no way I can fit it in my kayak and go back upriver.
That's what I was gonna ask. What are you gonna do once you kill it? Like,
I don't know. I'm gonna be fucked.
I think that to be honest, if they're anything like whitetail, they might actually float.
I don't know. I don't know about one of those big ones. There's the fat. I mean, it's like inches of fat on a big one. But I'll tell you, I shot. Okay, so this is public land. It's called Wheatie. It's about 2 hours south of me, and I drive all over the state to all these public lands. And so the first time I went to Wheatie, one of the DNR guys that I became buddies with told me that the hogs were hot down there. So I drove down there, and I walked in there, and I was in the thicket, and you're like crawling around with your blackout, and there's hogs literally like I probably was in there 75 yards. So I start shooting at them, and I shot at one, and I don't think I hit it, and then I shot at the other one, and I heard it squeal, and I looked around for it. I could not find it. So I thought, oh, well, I found them. So I kept going back there, and the hogs haven't been there. And I think it's just because the rest of the public land's closed by gate. So they were smart enough to go down where no one is.
Yeah, get back out of pressure.
Yeah, that's why I think I need the kayak.
Don't you guys have like snakes and shit down there?
Oh, yeah, that's some other shit. And thank God I haven't seen any of that. But you got to wear these snake boots that like basically like go up to your knees. And I'm bad. I don't look at the ground because I'm from Maryland. We don't have any of those snakes. And they have a lot of poisonous snakes down here or in South Carolina. I luckily have not seen any, but all my guy friends, they tell me I need to watch out when I get out of the truck. Like I never look when I step down out of the truck. It's bad. And then there's alligators too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Trev's having nightmares right now.
No, I don't go to some
like
states
Trev's
hunting because
ultimate
these fucking-
fears.
Yeah, I don't go to some states hunting just because it's snakes.
It's hard enough to get him down here on the Shenandoah because he's like,
I don't
wait,
like it.
don't you guys have copperheads? We're like, yeah, but you're okay.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You should see me mushroom hunting. I look like fucking Tinkerbell. Like I'm just bouncing around like petrified.
We're on our hands and knees scrounging, and he's like tippy toeing through, like using a stick to move bushes.
Oh my God. Well, it's funny that I'm scared of these goddamn snakehead fish, but I don't give a shit about these snakes, you know?
Yeah, the ones that'll actually kill you.
Yeah.
So like when in the Blackwater, like when you're walking around the marsh, they'll actually attack you? The snakeheads? Or is that in your mind?
That's in my head.
Oh, okay. I'm like, hold on. I need to know.
You don't hear very often of a snakehead attack.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's just me being stupid.
Because I was gonna say I'd be more worried about the copperheads and everything else that you have to worry about. That like,
well, and I think too because like I taught myself how to snakehead fish. So every weekend, I guess last spring, 2 springs ago, I drove 2 hours with my kayak out to the marsh to snakehead fish. So I will say the first time that I hooked up with one of those fish, I was in the middle of like these lily pads, and you hook it and they jump out of the water and come at you. And all I did, I screamed because I knew that they had teeth and I'd never caught one before. And I screamed and I took my rod and threw it. And I was like, holy shit. So then this guy's coming down the river and he hears me. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine. So I go to get my rod and, he got himself off my lure or whatever. And then ever since then, I'm just petrified because he came at me. He was trying to bite me.
oh, that's nuts.
Oh, I love it.
Have you ever eaten one of the snakeheads?
They're good. They're really good.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I love them.
I make tacos out of them. I make all kinds of stuff with them.
I love eating them. I think they're such great eating fish.
It's funny because a lot of people don't eat them.
Really?
Yeah, they'll just throw them to the side like trash fish.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. But
when I was in Maryland last year, all the restaurants have them as like specials.
Yeah, they have like the restaurants. It's like the new fancy, avant-garde thing to eat. They'll have like snakehead bites or something. But I think unless if you don't know, people are just like, oh, it's not good. But I guess they think it's bony. But if you cut it, if you fillet it correctly, it's fine.
No, yeah, you just cut out the bones and that's about it. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
So what other fish do you fish for down in South Carolina?
So I went shark fishing for the first time. That's my new addiction on the water is shark fishing. So for my birthday last July, I got a charter just because I don't know the water down there, and I figured the best way to do it is to hire somebody that did and kind of learn it that way. So I hired a charter, and the guy's like, and this guy's cool. He actually hunts Sick-a-Deer, Maryland. So we hit it off. And he said, what do you want to fish for? And I said, honestly, I want to catch some sharks. And so that's what we did first thing in the morning. He showed me how to follow the shrimp boats and how to chum and how to get the sharks. And I hooked like an 8-foot spinner. And that thing comes out of the water. I mean, it's all on video. It's so cool. And now I'm hooked at these goddamn sharks. So I took my boat back down 2 weeks later and caught sharks. But I just my sharks were only like this big. They weren't that big. But I was still happy that I took my boat out in the ocean, had no idea. I've never done it before by myself, and I caught some sharks. So
are the spinner sharks, is that an edible shark?
So I'm not really sure. I didn't keep any of the sharks that I've caught down there because they're really strict on the rules about the breed and the length and the size. And honestly, some of those sharks, I can't tell the difference. But I think some of them are edible for sure. So that's what this spring or, when it's more boat fishing season, I want to get out there because I really did learn the waters for rockfish last spring. So I feel like I kind of conquered that, and I want to do some more shark fishing.
Can you explain to me what a rockfish is?
What do you mean?
What's a rockfish?
Are you talking, so what do you call them?
Striped bass.
A striper?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it a Maryland thing called rockfish?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So stripers.
The rest of the world calls them striped bass or stripers.
Oh, okay.
Because I love it. I always bust on everybody because when everyone Garrett, I'll be talking to Garrett and he'll be like, bro, that was a big rockfish. And I say, the fuck is a rockfish? That's not a rockfish. I never caught a rockfish. So when he had said that, and then he was like, yeah, I always bust on him.
Yeah, it's a Maryland thing.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And it was a different type of fishing for that striper because usually I would fish for them in the Chesapeake Bay, and that's just like a big piece of water that's almost like the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going in these little ass rivers down here on little, john boats, and there's rapids and rocks, and I mean, it's a completely different way to fish for them. I never even would have thought that they were in that shallow of a water, but they go up there and they spawn.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught some 35, 38-inch rockfish up there. So I think I did pretty good.
That's good ones.
Yeah, that ain't bad at all.
No. So that's the same here. Actually, we get both of it here. So in our river systems early in the spring, our two big rivers, they go into spawn. And it's the same thing. They chase up the alewife herring and all that stuff, and they go up and they spawn. And so we catch them in the river. Then they fall back and they go into the sound. So we catch them there on the reefs and stuff. And then they move out, and we catch them literally almost. I mean, our last fish normally leave about the 1st of November. So we catch them pretty much all year round. I mean, other than the winter. Yeah.
Well,
So
it's like that in the bay. They go in the rivers in the bay, but I never fished for them there. We just had certain spots in the bay that we knew they were there, and we'd go there to bottom bounds, or we'd go, to fish the pylons or whatever. But I never thought about going in the rivers to actually fish for them. So that was eye-opening to learn how to fish in the rivers for sure.
It seems like Maryland, like a Chesapeake Bay, you can keep them a lot smaller than everywhere else. What are the size limits on them there?
So I didn't fish this year, but there was a slot when I fished 2 years ago, and I can't remember what it was, but I mean, it was 21 inches or something, maybe even 18 inches. I can't remember, but they were little.
See, we can't keep them here. It's one fish. Oh no, we're a slot right now. 28 to 36. we can only keep fish between 28 inches and 36 inches. Anything under and over has got to go back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember what Maryland rules were, but South Carolina, so they actually stock some of the lakes with stripers.
Yep.
So certain lakes, some of them there's actually no limit. You just catch as much as you want. Or like one lake, it's like a 5 fish limit and it's whatever size, but you have to keep the first 5 fish that you catch. Everything else you have to throw back.
I love that rule. I wish that was up here. Like, to be honest, like, because up here we have a ton of the mating females. So like we catch a ton of fish that are 40 pounds, 50 pounds,
Wow.
30 pounds. Like we catch a lot of big fish. And I always said this, that the charter boats, when they're out there, because you can obviously one per person. So I was like, the first 6 fish that hit the deck, those are the ones that should die, because we're trying to relieve 50-pound bass and put them back, and they're just floating up, and there's nothing we can do about it. And we literally have to put them back. We cannot keep them.
Yeah.
So
And that's so sad to waste it that way too.
Especially those are, I mean, did you, and this is a pretty cool fun fact, a lot of people don't know this, striped bass or rockfish, they're actually, oh my God, I just
got it.
lost
Spit it
words.
out. Spit it out.
They're both sex.
Unisex.
What is it?
No, not
So
unisex.
they're
No.
male and female?
Yeah, so they're hermaphrodites.
Hermaphrodite. That's the word.
So what
Oh.
happens is when they get over a certain size, they actually turn to a female.
Oh, really?
Yep. And it's vice versa with black sea bass. Black sea bass, when they get to a certain size, they turn into a male.
Oh, wow.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
I never
crazy?
knew that.
Man.
Are you telling me a fib or is that like a real thing?
No, it's real. It's real.
She's trying to call your bluff.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
I
like,
swear.
I need to Google that.
I swear, this is what I've been told. I mean, that's why I tell everybody that's my customer on the boat. So that's what my captain
You
told me.
spreading lies? You spreading fake news?
Probably. It's fucking 2020, dude. Everything's a hermaphrodite.
Everything goes in 2020. What do you mean?
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
So I have one last question for you, and that is, what drives you outdoors?
The adventure. The fucking adventure.
Yeah, I'd have to say for you that would probably be the best answer. I would agree with that one,
Like
100%.
all the things that come with that adventure. I mean, that's it for sure.
That's badass.
I can't get over the fact that you just started last year and all of the things that you've accomplished in such a little bit of time, and like not afraid of anything. And you have grown ass men. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but that won't even do half those things.
I think they would if they were put in the situation, maybe. But
No. They would ask on Facebook how to do something. And then they would
That's
go to
true.
attempt it half-ass, and they wouldn't actually do it.
So, okay, so this is one thing I didn't tell you that I'm trying to do. So I do have these pack of dogs, and I saw these 2 old men riding in on horses with their dogs with shotguns to kill deer. And I think that would be pretty badass if I could do that next year.
Okay. We need to ship her a GoPro and have her mount it
What is...
and just film that. That would be epic.
I have the horses and the dogs and the gun. Why I got to put it all together?
Exactly.
This is
It'd
awesome.
be epic.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I'm going to train my horse to be like not shy of a shotgun this year. That's what I
Gotcha.
need to do.
Well, just start them out low, get the 22 with the low round.
Yeah.
How do you have time to do anything?
I don't sleep. I really don't sleep.
I
Fair
no.
enough.
What do you have like normal girlfriends that like live normal lives? Are they all like you, or like what do they say?
They all think I'm just batshit crazy.
Fair enough. That's when you know you're doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, but they're my friends, I think they just live vicariously through me,
I love it. I think it's the greatest thing in the like. I can't get over it. Like it's totally mind-boggling to me. I've been doing this my whole entire life, hunting and fishing and everything like that, and I would never do half that shit, or I wouldn't do it alone.
Well, you guys are invited to come anytime.
Yeah, we need to look into that.
Yeah, no, that's a thing. Yeah, I'm buying a very big knife, and I'm coming.
And it's cheap to hunt from out of state. I mean, it's super cheap if you're not in state. So let's do it.
Hell yeah, we'll look into that for sure.
Totally down for that.
Huh,
Sweet.
crazy. Well, Jen, all I can say is thanks for making this one wild. It's
Thanks for having me.
This has been a blast, flat out. I haven't laughed and been in awe like this in a long time.
Oh, you guys are sweet.
So
I just feel like I'm just doing it. You know, I don't know how else to do it. I'm just doing it.
that's the only way to do it, and you're killing it. You're a beast.
Thank
So
you.
keep it up. We'll keep following you, and we'll definitely get something going. We won't see you at Harrisburg this year, of course, with that being canceled. So
Yeah.
we'll have to find a way around that.
I do have one little crazy question. Is the whole hype thing the camo hats, the
hide hair care.
Yes.
Okay, so hide hunting. So I started that because I actually developed a scent-free hair care line, like an upscale hair care line for hunters. But with all this COVID stuff, I just did not want to spend all the money on product to make it fit. So I actually have the formulation, but everybody loves these goddamn hats. So I've been selling a shit ton of hats and shirts, and people just love that. So I have that company that I'm not making product for yet. And then I just started another company called Vixen's Running Hounds, just because there's a lot of girls kind of in the sport of dog hunting, but there's nothing out there to really
support.
You know,
lifestyle.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I just kind of started that, and I'm going to do like some swag for that too.
Hell
where
yeah.
can they find all this stuff? We didn't even ask that. It went full throttle, 0 to 100.
So on Instagram, I'm always a ponytail. I think there's a link there for hide hunting on there. And then I actually haven't put anything out for Vixen's Running Hounds yet, but it'll be out there soon.
All right. Well, let us know, and we'll get it out there for everyone.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for the time and for jumping right off the plane and going into this train wreck with us. It's been a blast.
Yeah, well, it was fun.
And I think everyone's had a good time on this one. So I'm sure everyone will sit back and enjoy. And thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.